You, hey stranger, well, I haven't heard from you. The simple things. It's weird. So I'm never going to tolerate that. I don't have to be chased. I've been chased my whole life. I've been a wanted woman. Contrary to what you believe. Like, I'm a chased woman. I have no problem being chased. But if we're really doing something and we're on this show and we are trying to make something work in a manner that that's going to be good for y'all to see and a good representation, I can't fake it. We have to be on one accord. And, you know, the excuses is like, do act like you do, because the first sign that I get that you ain't that interested, hey baby, I'm gone, I'm good. Yeah, because I am a woman that's wanted, believe it or not. Yeah, I have a lot of options. Anything else? Because y'all done got on my damn nerves today, and I don't hardly go back and forth and all this and that. But yeah, y'all be doing too much. It's really, you know, it's ludicrous. They can't steal my joy, honey. I'm getting ready for a date in about an hour. They can't steal my joy. Trust me.
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Bird 91. We're talking to you guys about Vern from Ready to Love. She put on this live and she spoke about her experience and about some of the people that were speaking on her channel. And I thought to break down the whole entire live in a way that hopefully you guys will be able to understand. I want to be very, very clear. I want to use this word called pain point. Okay, and pain point, what it means is a reoccurring, persistent problem. Okay, and I believe that Vern has a reoccurring, persistent problem. That reoccurring, persistent problem is that she's always trying to prove that she's wanted, desired, and chased. I'll say it again. Her pain point seems to be, from my observation, that she always wants to prove that she's desired, she's chased, and she's wanted. And actually, there's a lot of us in the same boat, I included. This is going to be a live where I'm going to really break down some stuff psychologically and hopefully help some people out there as well. I know a lot of people already have an opinion on Vern. I have an opinion on Vern. I've given it during the course of the season. But I sat down and I really wanted to be able to help other people as well through this general message. The pain point of a persistent reoccurring problem, such as wanting to be desired and having to prove that to other people, it's often from a place where you have not been desired. It's often from a place where you have not been given the attention and the care that you needed, and you have been starved in that area to a degree and to a point where you try to prove to others that you are wanted and desired. This can also happen when there is sexual intrusion in the life of an individual. For instance, a woman or a man has in their youth has been sexually violated, and they can end up choosing a pathway of always trying to prove that they're wanted and desired in order to feel some form of validation and some control, and a form of obviously, and a form of also as well of showcasing to themselves, but also to others, that they are more than this, just that moment that's happened in their life, right? And I saw that with Vern. I said, okay, do you know what? Season 1, she did the very same thing. There was a live with Kyra and her, and I think I did a breakdown on it. And her whole live was recounting and letting the audience know, hey, I'm wanted. Okay, I'm wanted. I'm loved. People want me. Men want me. And that was after Joel didn't want her or I should say, rather, after Joel didn't necessarily follow through in terms of pursuing her and then becoming in a relationship. And yet we're here again in this particular season, and we're having the same discourse and conversation with Vern again coming on IG Live to let us know once more she's wanted, she's desired, and people are in her DMs. She's going on dates, and people want her. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well, the pain point. Okay, so if you just joined us, there's 143 of you in the room. I'm sure it's going to keep on growing today. It's 143 of you. I want to let you know today's topic is the pain point, persistent or reoccurring problem. Okay, all right. She can get a man. That ain't no problem. Vern is beautiful. She's attractive. She is voluptuous. Okay, she's curvy. You know what I mean? Her face is beautiful too. And so she's not going to have no problems getting a man, but she's going to have a reoccurring, persistent problem. She's always trying to prove that she's wanted or desired. And here's another example of how that works. Just the same way that she spoke about Maisel and said, Maisel, hey, you can't play a player. Usually those who play games are usually of the avoidant attachment style too. The ones that usually play the games are avoidant attachment style. Doesn't mean that anyone else doesn't play them. It just means that usually the men and the women that play games in the dating arena are usually the avoidant style. They're usually the catch me if you can. Okay? All right? Catch me if you can. Right? And that is the avoidant attachments way of going about things. They're like, can you catch me? I bet you can, but try if you want. I like the chase, right? Because I never want to commit to that person. And so they are, I call them attention whores, okay? And I'm one of them. So, I don't lie to you. Attention whores, because what they do is they hoard the attention. They are literally wanting attention all the time. And they find themselves in spaces where they draw attention onto themselves. Because the very people that want them are usually the very same people too who have issues as well. Because they're usually used to chasing and wanting to prove through catching the person that they are worthy too. Okay? And thus, she uses her body as the calling card to call the mates forward, come and chase. You know how I know that? I've got the same thing. Right? I got the same thing. There was a time period in my life I just couldn't go out without wearing a tight t-shirt. I promise you. I could not leave the house without a tight t-shirt, a vest, a tank top, some type of thing that's going to show some physique, because I was trying to prove, okay, in this pain point that I'm wanted and desired. I don't mind if it was a look. I don't mind if a woman came and touched my arms. I don't care if a woman was, ooh, like you look good. I always wanted that aspect. And so I always put the peacock display where I shone my feathers out there through my body, and then I had people chasing. But the quality was never the right kind of quality. And also, it was an indication of my mindset and where I was, because I fully hadn't, got my healing journey going in my mind, right? So when I say about persistent pain point, it's because there's something there that hasn't been healed, and it's still having an effect in this modern day and age and current time. And I'm looking at Vern, I'm going, it's the same thing. It's the same thing that's happening. That's why she leaves her body so much, right? That's why she leaves her body so much. I'm like, okay, now it makes sense why you have to consistently come on my internet and tell me that you're wanted. If you watch that live, I mean, listen, I wrote down my notes. When I start getting my pen out, you know what that means. Look, okay, I had notes. I said, okay, let me time the timestamps and the notes. Okay, and I think, let me see how many times. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's about at least 5 or 6 times Okay, there's at least 5 or 6 times that Vern lets us know in some type of way that she's wanted, desired, and coveted, right? On several occasions, right? And in doing so, she also lets us know that the women, the black women too, that are out there that are coming against her on her IG, on her Instagram, she on several occasions, through comparisons, lets them know that she's better than them. Right? Some of you don't look as good as me, she said. I'm 42, I look better than some of you. You know, she says, what else did she say? Some of you are male identified. I know that that's the best that you can do, but I can do better. And so several times she will make it clear and make it known that she is better than the crowd or the haters that are coming at her. But really all she's doing is trying to validate that she is wanted, desired, and coveted. And I understand that feeling, and it hasn't fully gone away from me. It's still a process of growth. I'm not going to pretend like I'm completely over it. I'm not going to pretend that I'm not an attention whore at certain points in time. I'm not going to pretend as if I'm not hyper aware of the attention that I do get. Let me give an example of this, right? Due to my upbringing and I call it the ugly duckling syndrome, where you are the young man or young woman who wasn't desired, who wasn't wanted, like that. You know, your peers didn't see you in that particular way. I fought for every bit of attention that I could get, right? Even in the home, I fought for some of that attention too, right? And so what happened was, right, I learned how to, through my personality, and also through just me being wanting attention, I learned how to be hyper aware. So, and I realize it happens to me even today. If I'm out and about and I'm dancing, right, I'm still hyper aware. When I'm dancing, you know, yesterday or whatever, I become so hyper aware that even though I'm dancing, I become aware of every camera in the room. Like before, and people think people think they're secretly calling. I'm like, I got you, and I saw what angle, and I saw what your angle is, and I saw that angle. I already saw it already. Right? So there's a hyper awareness, because part of the attention hoarding is that you need to know where your source of attention is coming from. And so in order to feel good, you don't necessarily need people to come up to you and tell you look good. Sometimes you can take a glare or the glance or the staring or the facial expression. You can take it as something being attentive to you, and that becomes your form of validation. Right? Now, Vern has got onto our internet and has told us once more again, she's wanted, desired, and coveted, into a point where she even told us that her and Walter had a date or two. I didn't even know her and Walter went on a date. But did I need to know that? No. But because Walter came on the live, and I mean when I came on the live, he commented in the live. Not that he came on and was speaking. He commented on the live. She ended up telling us that her and Walter had gone on a date before. Why? Because she wants to prove again once more she's desirable. And she is a desirable woman. That's not my issue. My issue with her is she leads with her body. That's my biggest issue. She leads with her body, and I know how that is, because after a while, it doesn't last. It's tiring to consistently lead with the body, because you have a mind that is also beautiful. You have a mind that is also valuable. You have a mind that is full of depth in some regard, right? And so with that, you don't want to be just wanted for your body, you want to be wanted for your mind. And, you know, until I got to a place where I was satisfied and said, you know what, this doesn't work for me anymore. I shouldn't even say satisfied until I was annoyed. And I realized that being coveted for my body, being coveted for my muscles, it's not enjoyable anymore. Like, I'm a smart person. I'm a deep intellectual thinker. And people were not able to get to know me because I was consistently leading with my body, being flirtatious and innuendos and da-da-da-da-da. And I was consistently trying to prove people want me. And the funny thing was, I was causing myself more issues. But I want people to want me for my mind, because that's going to last longer, right? I want people to want me for what's in here because it lasts longer. And that is a sign of somebody actually wanting you, not wanting this. The outside body lasts only a short while, but this will outlast this, man. You know what I'm saying to you? So you want this to be coveted. And of course, the body's nice too. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying you shouldn't. Just saying that you want that more, right? Okay. All right. Here are 10 things that happened on that particular live. 10 points I realized was on that live. 10 points. If you didn't watch the live, I'm going to break it down in 10 points really, really quickly. She believes number one, she believes some of the black women are male identified and only back men, but don't back black women. Number two, she on many occasions drives insults through comparison to some of those black women that she feels were her haters, and she feels that she's better and above them. Number three, she has a constant need to be desired and wanted and lets us know that throughout the course of their life. She addressed Tabari's walking away scene. Number five, she addressed Tabari's lack of communication. Number six, she says RTL needs a bigger quality pool of men. She wanted more quality on the show. These men weren't it. Number seven, why Tabari and her are not friends, but Jabari and her are friends. It's because they developed a friendship apparently as well. She also says that she denies sleeping with anybody on that show. And then she ended up blocking somebody. She addresses Sabrina's situation and she called out Sabrina. Okay. And number 10, the reason why she's responding the way she's responding is because she hates being lied upon. She understands that people are going to have their opinion, but one thing she cannot do, one thing she doesn't like is being lied upon. Okay. So I definitely understand those points there, all right? But we're going to break it down now. I'm going to play more clips. I'm going to hopefully speed through. We're not going to be here more than an hour. I don't want to be here longer than that. I like to try and keep a good limit on my things now for you guys. Just makes it easier as well for you guys to rewatch the replay and also as well to break it down later on. So if you are new to the channel, please do me a massive favor. Like it, share, subscribe. Click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you know what it is, baby. You got the minerals, okay? All right? If you haven't done so, join our membership. It's £1, $1. And if you don't know already, we've got a Discord through our Patreon. Go join the Patreon, join our Discord. We're going to have some great content coming this 2024 when I'm back from Ghana because I'll have more time. And we also have merchandise as well, so you can also find that in the description box, or you should see some pictures down below. Click on them, grab your merchandise. We'd love for you guys to be part of the Mineral Gang. Grab your hoodie, grab your hats, grab your stuff for this winter. All right, let's get into this video. I'm gonna go to the very beginning, and hopefully we'll just breeze through some of these points that I felt like. Okay, so let's go here.
Literally, what I'm noticing about our black women, y'all are so quick to go against the black woman. You have the black man that's for the black man, and then you have the black woman that's for the black man. And not a lot of y'all, but the vast majority, and it's disgusting. Y'all will watch certain things happen, and y'all will still blame the black woman for the lack of the shortcomings of the black man. It's ludicrous. And I'm not always right, and I don't portray to be perfect. But y'all are crazy. I feel like a lot of the men that we date on these shows y'all would consider high quality men. They're definitely quality men. I don't know about high, but they're quality, okay? And maybe some of y'all feel like that's all that y'all can do. Like that's the best that you can do, right? And so when we feel like a connection is no longer for us, or it's not servicing us, or that, we don't want to just continue with it because we know it's not going to end on a good note, y'all feel like we're supposed to settle. Like y'all feel like I'm supposed to settle for whatever reason. Maybe you feel like that's the best that you can do in a man. But me, I'm not going to it's like pulling teeth to asking somebody to communicate with you, to text you, to call you. Hey, how you doing? You alive?
Okay, so that first part, the reason why I brought that up was because, again, I don't like that actually. I don't know where it sits. But as I said, she mentions again that, that the haters, whatever, black women that are doing this, that if that's the best that you can do, that's you. But I believe, I can do better in a sense, right? And I want to be very honest. If you believe your standard is above that standard, I understand. All right? I'm not going to be mad at people saying that they have a standard, right? I think everyone has their standards and they have their level and they have their thing that they believe that they want from the opposite sex, and I'm not going to be mad at it. My point here, my thing here is this. Number one, the quality of men hasn't really changed from the season 1. Why did she go on the show again? She had no ulterior motive, I believe, right? Probably for her business or whatever to get out there. Because let me be honest with you, I'm not going to deny and say that, you're married, that these men, quality men, are not, maybe some of them are not quality. Yeah, some of them are not quality, let's be honest, right? But you knew the standard of quality last time, okay? Like, did you think they were going to change? Like, you were here the first season, and the only person you really were messing with was really Joel. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, so if that's the case, why return? Why return for the show again, knowing that the quality of men probably isn't going to be on that standard level? Because this is reality TV. They can't guarantee that kind of man for you, right? And so that was my own main point about that. But I think it's interesting, again, that how she says the best quality of man that you can get as a shot to some of the people that have obviously gone against her and said, you know what, we don't like the way that you behave towards some of these men, right? Or they've maybe called her out on some certain things. And I get it. She's a little bit frustrated and annoyed, and I understand. We all get to that place sometimes. But in reality, I'll be honest with you, there's some plausible concern here, right? And the plausible concern here is that, sis, the way maybe you dealt with Tabari, and I said this as well. She's got a type, okay? She's got a type. Jabari, okay, Joel, even Mizell are the same men. They are the same type of men. Okay, all right, and that's what I want her to be able to be aware of. You see, whenever things go wrong, I try to do analysis as to why did it go wrong. I like to reverse engineer. What was your thinking? What was your thought process? Why did you do what you did? What's your motivations? Because then I can change what I'm doing. Look, we all know better sometimes, but we do something crazy. We all know sometimes to do better, and we do the wrong thing. It happens. But can I reverse engineer what's happening and can start to see where I'm making the same mistake? And what I'm starting to realize with is that Jabari, Mizell, and also Joel from previous seasons are the same type of men. Smooth talkers, with a little history behind them of playing the game. And do you know why she likes those kind of men? Because she hasn't moved from the playing games herself. Because she's still stuck in a place where she drives her attention from her body, she also looks for men who too respond to the body. And I had to figure that out myself, that the reason why I like certain type of women, or why certain women were attracted to me, is because the energy I was emitting outwardly as well. If I put my body on the line and people respond to the marketing that I put out there, I cannot be angry about the customers that are buying the product because I've put that out there. Do you see what I'm saying to you? And so the likes of Jabari, Mizell, and Joel, ooh, baby, they got that high sexual energy, and oftentimes what happens is, let's break this down. When you've lacked in the area of being desired appropriately, often people use sexual energy and sexual enticement and sexual intimacy as a way of communicating and receiving their validation, because sex is one of the easiest ways to be able to receive a validation from the opposite sex, right? So if you operate in a space where you emit sexual energy quite a bit, it's easy to see what men latch onto that and what men desire you, because it's a really quick fix. Like if you walk down the road with a tight dress, a body looking, yeah, it's very easy, quickly, that men will go, heads turning, probably get a few wolf whistles, which, by the way, don't do that, men. Few comments, you know, da-da-da-da. You get an immediate response. And what happens is, it's very easy to fall into that space when you're in the microwave aspect where you want quick results. When you want a quick turnaround and validation, you know that it's easy to get it through the sexual means. And sometimes what people have learned is to use sexual energy as a way of getting their validation. Okay? All right? So, again, this is not an indictment on her. It's more of a case of, you know what, some of us are like this. I know myself, I'm still growing and still learning, and I can't act like I'm not still, some parts of me not still in that place. You get what I'm saying to you? That some parts of me don't still respond to that energy. That some parts of me don't respond to that vibe. You get what I'm saying to you? Okay? So when she's, letting us know, I'm like, I hear it, but baby, Jabari, Mazel, Joel, baby, as Joel would say, they're responding to the sexual energy. Yeah? That's what I was seeing. And I'm not saying that Tabari didn't respond to that energy too, but I'm saying there was a different kind of energy Tabari brought to the table. He wasn't as slick. He wasn't as smooth. He wasn't as... how do I say, as in, he wasn't as slick and smooth. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't the exact same way. So that was something that I saw, and I was like, okay, I definitely hear that as well. Okay, all right. I want to go to my next point, 11:50. Let's go to that as well. Let's get to this point.
From the very beginning that I had addressed. And if I'm addressing something, it's because communication is important to me. You just showing up on dates that production put together, that's not your effort of dating me, because you play no parts in that. You just showing up. You didn't pay for the dates. You didn't plan the dates. Nothing. So you're showing up to work at this point. So show me, what are you going to do outside of showing?
Let me go forth.
Appointment, or even a gynecologist appointment, or get a maid service to clean them nasty ass houses. Do something with your time besides sitting on this internet and going back and forth about something you was not there. And if you're paying attention, yeah, the editing, they do all the editing in the world, but the proof is in the pudding. I ain't said this 3-4 times about the non-communication, because it was happening. Think. Use your brains. Y'all don't always have to side with the men just because they're the type of man that you would want. They probably don't want you. Hell, all of them don't want me. And if you do, act like you do. Because the first sign that I get that you ain't that interested, hey, baby, I'm gone. I'm good. Yeah. Because I am a woman that's wanted. Believe it or not. Yeah, I have a lot of options. Anything else? Because y'all done got on my damn nerves today. And I don't hardly go back and forth and all this and that. But yeah, y'all be doing too much. It's ludicrous. They can't steal my joy, honey. I'm getting ready for a date in about an hour. They can't steal my joy. Trust me. But I will address what needs to be addressed. And a lot of them, I don't know if it's dope or dog food.
Now, instantly enough, like she lets us know she's about to go on a date. We didn't need to know that. She's about to go on a date. She's wanted. People are in her DMs. She has options, she says. And you know what? She's right. She does have options. But how many of those options are quality options? How many of those options stimulate your mind? How many of those options really get you buzzing? How many of those options actually can you see yourself dating and being in a relationship with? There ain't no point having men that are salivating over you, but none of them really bring any quality to your life. It's all well and good to say you have options. It does help. Don't get it twisted. But avoidant people tend to have a lot of options. Those who are attention whores, and I told that not from a woman's perspective, I said that about myself as well before anybody takes that and runs with it. Those of us who are attention whores always have people that are options, because we create them if we don't have them, right? And we don't need them to even do much. We just need you to be in the space. But how many of those options are actually viable? How many of those options actually that you speak to and you're like, I really want to get to know you more and I want you to get to know me more? Okay? How many of those options want to lock you down? How many of those options want a relationship with you? How many of those options want long-term connection with you? Right? So you telling us you're about to go on a date. What does that mean to me? Why do I need to know? Why do we need to know? Because you're trying to validate and show the other people, hey, don't worry about the show. I still got people that want me. I still got people that want me. I still got women that still got men that still want me. Don't worry about me. I'm good. I got my things locked. Okay, right? But again, the question is, what is the quality status of those men that are in your DMs right now, Vern? And if they're so good, we need you to start assessing, discerning, and go and choose somebody good. You know what I mean? You've got the options, right? The reality of the situation is most of us haven't got great options. Let's be freaking honest. No, can we be honest? I know that women always say, if I want to be married to, I hear women say, some women, not all, some women will tell you, if I wanted to be married tomorrow, I could. And they're right. There are men out there you can just easily marry. But how many of these options that you actually have that are actually good options? Most of us don't have any good options at all. If we did, we wouldn't be single. You know what I mean? Including myself, okay? Including myself. Okay, if we consider those options very good, we wouldn't be single. Apart from the people that are being very intentional about trying to be single, but a lot of us are not trying to be intentionally single, right? Now, of course, I took some time out. I wanted to be on a hiatus because I needed to relax. But let's be honest. Most of your options are not that. Okay, so let's move on to the next point. Apologies. Let me address this point here as well. Okay, so she addresses this next point as well.
Me alone. Seriously. I ain't the one. Or the two. And y'all so pressed about me leaving somebody on the couch or whatever. What am I supposed to do? I didn't get up and walk away so he could come running behind me. Are y'all fucking crazy? I got up and walked away after telling him that I was going to move in a different direction and move along by myself. I was honestly shocked that he was so surprised. And then he said something about us being friends. Well, I didn't come on this show to get a friend. And if he wanted to remain friends, he could have exited different. He didn't give me a hug. He was mad about it. He appeared to be, let me say that. And even on the reunion, he had an attitude about it. So I don't care to be friends with anybody that I'm not in a relationship. I don't care to have men friends. Now, male friends that I have are my brothers. I didn't come on ready to love, make a move to find a friend. If you wanted to be friends, you shouldn't have came on the show. If you wanted to move in a friendship manner and not communicate or not show somebody that you're interested by your way of communication, maybe this wasn't the show for you.
Now, let's be very, very clear here. I think what's interesting here is that she says, I don't know why Tabari was surprised by me letting him go. Why was he surprised? Because at the end of the day, he wasn't communicating. Now, my question is, we surprised that, you chose him consistently when you knew the communication was off? Why wouldn't he? At first I was asking myself the question, yeah, why was he surprised? But my thing is also, no, yeah, of course he's surprised because you kept on choosing him, right? Of course he's surprised because you kept on choosing him. And you know what I mean? And I wonder how much conversation you guys actually had about where you actually really stood in the relationship. Right? Hence him saying that communication goes both ways. Clearly, both of you are not communicating. That's the issue. So when you say that he's not communicating, I'm going, no, clearly I think both of you are not communicating because he was surprised. Okay? He was surprised by the fact that, you know what, it's going to be ended like that. Okay? So in that moment, we've got two people who are not communicating effectively. Right? But one person's deciding that the other party wasn't good at communicating because they wanted a certain level of communication, which I take into account. I'm not going to deny. I'm not going to deny that aspect and say that she's wrong for wanting that. She's absolutely right for wanting a certain level of communication. But Bebe, you were choosing him every single time. Meanwhile, you knew the communication was off. Of course, you had already let him know at a point in time that the communication was off. But of course, he's surprised because he brought his mama to you. You and your mama got on very well. You've been discussing certain things. Of course, he's surprised in some aspect or two. Right? In some aspect or two. But let's keep it a buck and let's keep it real too. Him getting, him sitting there and processing the information. She was like, oh, he was angry. Maybe, anger is another word, but maybe let's say he was hurt. It's interesting that she never saw the hurt, but she saw the anger. I thought that was interesting, that she only saw the anger, not the hurt, in the situation with Tabari. Because what I was seeing was not somebody who was angry. I saw somebody who was hurt. But it's interesting that she saw the anger and not the hurt. And I don't think she was able to empathize with him because she didn't like him. See, sometimes we lack empathy for people that we don't like. Ain't that some You know what I mean? Sometimes we lack empathy for people who we don't like. It's very hard to empathize and see the emotion in that person because we don't like them. I never got the instinct, I never got the idea that Venetia actually liked or found him attractive in that particular form of fashion. So there was a lack of empathy. So she read him sitting there processing the information for 10 minutes as anger. She processed the fact that he walked past her and didn't want to give her a hug and say something as anger rather than the hurt that happened in that situation. Do you get what I'm saying to you? And so when Vern wasn't able to realize the pain that Tabari was suffering in that moment, when we're watching it, we're looking at it going, hold on a minute, this brother looks like he's been hurt. This brother looks like he's really sad, he's down. I wasn't looking at the anger. You know what I mean? I was more looking at the fact that this guy looks down. He looks like he's really sad about the situation. Brother looks hurt, right? So in that moment, what we now see is that she couldn't see him in that way. Hence why she, like you guys are saying, was nitpicking. Hence why she kept on saying, you know what, you're too silly. I want you to be more serious with me. And yet, and this is funny, right? She wanted him to be more serious. And when he asked her a question the very first time, what do you do for fun? Everything. So you want the person to be more serious, but you, when you're asking a question about some depth, couldn't even give it. So the very thing you're requesting, you can't even give. Or maybe you didn't want to give. Is a better answer. Maybe you didn't feel inspired to give because you weren't attracted to him that way, right? So you didn't want to go into depth with him. And actually we heard from Tabari on the show that he said that he felt there was a guard up. The reason why there was such a guard up in that way is because she didn't want to give you any space or any room to maneuver. Now she says, obviously because the communication wasn't great behind the scenes, when they came on set, he was all great, but now when they got off set, there was a lack of communication. Why did you keep on choosing him if there was a lack of communication? Because you liked the attention. And it was also going to be a play. Now, maybe as well, let me be fair, maybe production has a big role in it. Yeah, I want to be fair. Maybe production has a really big role in it. But I think also the reason why she didn't want to get rid of Tabari is because very much with avoidance, the attachment style, they keep people around because we need safety nets. We need places we can feed our ego from. We need people that we can guarantee we can get our ego filled and our desires and be validated from. So Tabari's kept around, right? But and maybe part of us also thinking as well, maybe it will change. Maybe I'll start to like him. You know, some women sometimes do that. Sometimes like, I don't like him now, but maybe I'll grow to like him. Maybe I'll start to feel some type of way if I spend more time with him. Do you get me? Right? And so as that's playing a role in the situation, maybe that's also playing on her mind at the same time too. Okay, but she couldn't see and empathize with Tabari that he sat there for 10 minutes processing what happened. Even now, looking back at it, she's like, I don't know why he's surprised. Sis, I don't think you can empathize with him because you never liked him. Hence why I said the body language was telling us so much. There was so much distance between the two of them all the time. You know, when you don't like somebody, you don't even want them to touch you. You don't even want them to get close to you. Okay? Okay. As well, okay? Let me bring it forward. Communicational aspect.
Because you got to, I want you to text me, call me. Hey, how you doing? You good today? Thought about you. How was your day? And yes, communication goes both ways. It's the reason why I had kind of started communicating first. Sending a text. Hey, how are you? Hey, stranger, well, I haven't heard from you. The simple things. It's weird. So I'm never going to tolerate that. I don't have to be chased. I've been chased my whole life. I've been a wanted woman. Contrary to what you believe. Like, I'm a chased woman. I have no problem being chased. But if we're really doing something and we're on this show and we are trying to make something work in a manner that that's going to be good for y'all to see and a good representation, I can't fake it. We have to be on one accord. And, you know, the excuses is like, no, it's no excuse. If you like somebody, they going to know you like them. Yeah, it was clear you like me in front of the camera. But on the off days or like when we done filming, I didn't talk to this person. And y'all wanted me to leave and fake a fake relationship like a lot of people do? That's not me. I don't know how to pretend. Even when he would come on set after not hearing from him all day, my attitude, you set the tone because I have an attitude. I do have an attitude because I'm like, dang, I done told you, like, I still haven't heard from you. Dude, can you take 2 seconds while you're using the bathroom and say, hey, how was your day? How you doing?
And I think this is where there might be a little bit of confusion on our part because it's like, we saw you address him on the show that he didn't message you till 6 p.m. or whatever. But clearly, like you said, there's always been communicational issues behind the scenes in terms of him communicating with you. He shows you so much energy when he comes on the set, but a lack of communication behind the scenes. Why did we keep choosing him? I mean, maybe that's a question that we would be better set. And that's a question that actually Vern never answers. She never answers why she kept on choosing him week to week. Now, maybe it's production again, and I'm giving her out. But we never heard why she kept on choosing him. Because he was chosen for at least 3 or 4 weeks, right? So our question is, what was making you choose him in that period of time? Because clearly there was communicational errors. But what was making you choose him? We never get that answer. Okay? So, you know, in that respect, I don't know. Now, what's interesting is Jabari wanted her home early. Tabari is saying, listen, do your thing, but I got to do my thing. And this is what we were saying earlier on in the season. We're not sure what Vern really wants. But I understand that communication is still a big thing no matter what you're doing. And it doesn't matter how busy you are, you should be able to communicate with your partner. But we got lost a little bit because with Jabari, she was going to have to be a home woman. With Jabari, she was gonna have to be at home early. With Tabari, she doesn't have to do that, but she doesn't want that either. And it's like, baby, which one do you want? So we can get an understanding, so we understand clearly. You know, I think we're a little bit confused a little bit by that little in between aspect as well. But like she lets us know again, she is a chaste woman. Okay, you know, so. You know, this is also a bit part as well. So let me get back into it, and we'll discuss a little bit more, because I think there was some conversation to be had here.
Are you friends with any of the ladies? I'm friends with all the ladies from the show, all of them. Do you think the show delivers? I think the show has great possibility to deliver, but they have to get more quality men than just the few that were presented to us. Because even if it don't work with one or two, we should have still had way more of a bigger selection of quality men to choose from. Is how I feel. But yeah, I would not ever be doing another dating show. Yeah. I always handle myself well. I'm respectful until you're disrespectful to me, and then that's when the issue comes. But I'm not on here to try to sway y'all in any direction. However you think, whatever you feel, but think. Just think before y'all get to like writing stuff. That'd be my thing. I'm like, y'all crazy. The first guy did not have communication issues as whatsoever. We communicated all the time. We hung out off camera. He planned dates like nail salon, lotion store, like just different things that he would do. The only thing is he wanted a more traditional lifestyle in a woman, and I don't think it wasn't gonna work on that matter. But me and Jabbar we friends. We left on a great note. We kind of communicated a little bit afterwards, and not about a relationship, just because we built a friendship. And for certain, you know, if you want to be friends with somebody that it didn't work out with, you have to be a gentleman, you know, upon your departure. Even if you feel like you're not ready to go or whatever, but it's just the way that you do things. You know, hug it out. After I eliminated him, I even rubbed his back. It's like y'all not paying attention. I'm not a mean-spirited person at all. And I don't like to hurt people. But at the same time, me selling for something that I know I don't want would be hurting myself in the long run. So I have to do what's best for me and my future and what I feel like I deserve. You know, and me steady asking you over the few weeks about your communication, that's a major problem. That's a problem, because you communicate with who you want to communicate with. He said he is an effective communicator, and he communicates great in a lot of parts of his life. Well, him not communicating with me showed me that I wasn't the woman that he wanted to communicate with. It's how I look at it. But then when you come on camera, you know, you all smiles and giggles and shits. And no.
Now, I think it's quite interesting. She says that Jabari wanted a traditional lifestyle. And the reason why they remain friends is because, you know, he planned dates, he did all that kind of stuff, and, you know, he exited with grace. Unfortunately, Tabari didn't exit with grace, and so he didn't plan any dates outside of the show, and he didn't communicate very well outside of the show. So, what is there to be friends over? And to be fair, I'm not gonna make that any deeper than it actually needs to be, right? It's simply put, the investment she felt from one party from the other party wasn't the same, and therefore she's happy to be friends with Jabari and not Tabari. I don't want to make that any deeper than it actually is, okay? In that respect, when it comes to why they have a friendship. Now, Tabari, if you know you weren't communicating with her outside the show, what do you expect? But he says, obviously, communication is a two-way streak, and he feels that communication's thingy. Now, somebody said something really interesting in the chat. They said, when she told him to stop being silly, he actually did. So what is it about the communicational aspect that he couldn't do? What is that about? Because when it came to him being less silly, he actually did it. He toned it down. So what is it about the communicational aspect that he couldn't necessarily do, quote unquote? Why couldn't that change? Because clearly she asked him to change something and he did it immediately, right? We saw that over the case of in fact, I felt it was even bad. You know what I mean? It felt like it was even bad the way he even had to change himself. But hey ho, what is it that he couldn't do in terms of communication? And I think that's where I want to get to, what that communicational aspect is. Now, obviously, I've reached out to Tabari. I'm going to interview him hopefully next week. And that's going to be a question I really want to ask him as well. When she said, obviously, you weren't communicating, you said that it's a two-way street. You said, obviously, etc. I want to know what that means. I want to know what your form of communication was and what your responses to that, because we need to understand this. Okay? All right? So, you know, I need to know that, right? So I'm not mad at Vern saying that, because if he wasn't contacting that outside the show, hey, I get the point. If you're not communicating with me, then you're not going to be my person. It is that simple. Again, I think what the question is going to be asked is, why did we allow for such a, why do we allow for such lengthy, protracted communications, knowing he wasn't doing the best job communicating outside of the show, right? That was probably the only issue I would have in that respect. Let me go to this bar here.
Right. Make it make sense. Yeah. I'm never chasing a man, baby. I can get somebody else to do it. Yeah, it's a way different types. Baby. Anywho, my blacklist is getting long about a minute. What's your top 3 reasons for never doing a dating show again? Just not doing it. It ain't no, it's the top, it's just not, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. What about after the show? Did he make any effort? No, he didn't. We became social media friends. That was about it. Kind of said a word or two. But even on the reunion, he didn't really say much to me, and I didn't say nothing to him. So, except when we had to talk.
So obviously after the reunion, he didn't reach out, obviously, to message or whatever. Again, we need to ask Tabari as to why that also happened, because you can't be claiming for friendship and you're not also reaching out to have a conversation. Now, of course, he may have felt hurt by the situation, but let's be real, you have to reach out, sir. I can't be getting on to Vern and all the way when there's two sides to the story and two people who are contributing towards the situation. I wonder what kind of communication was actually put in, because if you want a friendship, my friend, then you're going to have to put some work in. Okay? All right? Now, maybe when you say friendship, maybe you meant some cordiality. Maybe you meant some cordiality, meaning you wanted the person to be cordial with you rather than actually friendship. Because I'm going to be very honest with you, okay? If I'm wanting a friendship, I'm going to have to put some work in. I'm going to have to call you. I'm going to have to message you. I'm actually going to have to put some effort into the situation. I cannot just say I want a friendship and not put any effort going forth. If after the reunion I didn't message you as well, or I didn't say anything to you, don't expect that person to respond the same way. Okay? All right? So listen, I'll be honest with you. I don't think he was that invested either, if I'm honest with you. I didn't think Tabari was that invested, if I'm honest with you, in the situation myself. I just didn't think he was. And so for me personally, they both canceled each other out in that respect. I just didn't think he was that invested. I'll be honest with you. Okay.
Kendra. Was it Kendra G? Kendra G. I'm on Kendra G show all the time. I think it's hilarious. Shout out to Kendra G. Helping blacks find love, right? So it was this dude on there, and he was in Houston, and all the ladies was on there. We was like, yeah, I'm in Houston too. She took a comment that I said a few weeks ago literally playing, and was gonna make a whole YouTube about me as to how she knows I'm still single. So when it was brought to my attention, I DM'd her. I did not curse her out or disrespect her in any type of way. She was going to do it on Christmas Eve. And I asked her, shouldn't you be wrapping gifts or spending time with your family? Why are you dedicating your Christmas Eve to me and trying to figure out, mind you, the show hadn't even aired to see if I eliminated Tabari or not. I think it's very unfair for you to take a comment and to create a whole YouTube to wonder if I'm still single and try to ruin it for the fans. Or hell, what if I decided to leave with him and I was writing a comment and I'm a cheater? Like, y'all do too much. So she decided not to go through with it, and I blocked her. And she did a YouTube on why she not going through with it because I DM'd her. So I'ma always address you. My thing is with the so-called ready to love family, y'all go and sit on these panels after being on these shows and y'all know exactly what's going on. And y'all try to get a fucking moment because y'all were the ready to love rejects. Don't try to get a moment off of your castmates and you done basically went through what they going through and you know the editing, like y'all know everything. And she tried to make, oh, well, I really liked her. If you liked me, you wouldn't have even been doing that.
Now, I didn't really get this. I didn't understand what the beef was here. Sabrina is a YouTuber now. She was on the internet. You've made a comment about another guy on the Kendra G show. And now you're telling us you were joking. You were just being funny about it because the guy's from Houston talking about what. Well, sis, if you were in a relationship, you shouldn't have been joking like that. I mean, you get what I'm saying to you? If you did have a man, you shouldn't have been joking like that. So what she's learned through the act of deduction is, and if you have got a man, then you would be cheating like you just said. So yes, it's going to be news. Okay? It's going to be news. It is going to be news. And you know what? Me personally, I would have done the video just for that. Because you ain't about to tell me how I'm going to do my video. Because if I caught you out somewhere, I'm going to do a video on it. What do you mean? You know what I'm saying to you? And that's what I'm trying to say about Vern sometimes. She didn't realize. And then she's like, I didn't cuss her out. But then turns around and calls her a damn reject. Oh, I didn't cuss her out, but I'm calling her a damn reject, on the internet. So, look, let's look. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, for me personally, when I was listening to that, I was just like, I don't get the beef here. Oh, it would have ruined the show for the audience. Yo, you don't care about the audience and the show. You do not care about us having our show ruined by that piece of information. You do not care. That is a deflection. You don't care about the show being ruined on this. You don't. Because there are spoilers every season. Okay? There are spoilers every damn season. And if you knew that the show hadn't aired yet, why the frick are you on Kendra G making those type of comments then? No. If you know that you don't want to spoil the show for anybody, why are you commenting in the Kendra G chat? Because if it wasn't Sabrina, it would have been someone else. If it wasn't Sabrina, it could have been someone else. So why take out your energy on Sabrina like that? I'm not trying to defend Sabrina. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense to me. Okay. My time is almost up.
Yeah.
Let me just scoot past.
Walter was on the show. Me and Walter actually went out on a date to cook at Touffet. Oh no, I'm not offended at all. The amazing reset. No, I'm not offended. I can't ever be offended by the lies, but I will defend the truth of the matter and let you know exactly what it is. But y'all can't offend me. Nothing you say dictates my life. Child, they talked about Jesus Christ. You think I don't think they gonna talk about me?
Now, listen, I want to say this straight, and I'm going to round up really, really quickly. Listen, I appreciate Vern obviously doing this live because I mean it gives us a better understanding of her. As I said before, Hun, this comes back to the original point of what we call pain point. I think with Vern, there's a pain point. I think there's a need to keep on proving that you're wanted, you're chased, you're sought after, you're wanted. People love you, people care about you. There's a need to prove that to people. Okay, all right. And in all honesty, she said she wasn't offended, but we sounded offended because you called out the black woman and you called out Sabrina, and there was nothing like in there that doesn't say you weren't offended. It sounded like you were offended. Okay, all right. It sounds like you were offended. Now, the reality of the situation is, I think with Vern, I think she needs to change her value points away from the body to the mind. If we can spend more time on the mind and let that be the value point of her, I think we're going to get better results. I think we're going to get better results. Okay, all right. And so, I don't want to repeat too much of what I've said already in the earlier live. My thing again would be for Vern. If she sees this, I'll reach out to her to see if we do an interview. I don't know if we will do one because I think the first time round when I did the season, she didn't want to come on because I did my commentary on her, and yeah, maybe she felt like I was a bit harsh on her. But the reality of the situation is we comment on what we see. And that's our job. We comment on what we see. And we talk about behaviors, not you personally. Again, I've never said I don't like Vern, never said that she's a bad person. This is about behaviors. We disagree on behaviors. Maybe you have a disagreement point on behavior. Come and have a discussion. You know what I mean? So, look, there's been 678 people on this live, and I appreciate y'all for joining this live. I'm going to keep it nice and short. We out. Cheer, and we outside. I appreciate y'all. Stay locked, stay loaded. We'll see you again very, very soon. Much appreciation. Don't do anything I wouldn't do out here, baby. Slide down a wall. Appreciate